Hey guys, EBPMAN here, and today we're going to talk about gimbals. And let's face it, if you have one of these, and let's face it, all of us have one of these, you end up having to buy a gimbal for each one of those devices. One for your smartphone, one for your DSLR, and then one for your action camera. Well, in today's video, we're going to take a look at a product from Feiyutech. This is the Feiyutech G6 Max. This is a gimbal that supports all those products. You heard that right. One gimbal for all your devices. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now in today's video, we're going to take a look at the Feiyutech G6 Max, and this is a gimbal that's going to support all of those devices. If you're looking to step up your video, either for personal or for prosumer, or for your YouTuber like myself, or for weddings, and you don't want to have a gimbal for every single device, then the Feiyutech G6 Max is a good option for you because it allows you to use one gimbal to support all those devices. And in today's video, we're going to take a closer look at this gimbal and why you may want to consider it. And as we're taking a look at what's going on here in the box, this is exactly what we're talking about. So you can see that this is the Feiyutech G6 Max. It is a gimbal that supports a standard DSLR. We're going to look at some of the weight limitations and what class DSLR you'll be able to support, an action camera, and a smartphone. So this is going to allow you to maximize your investment and only have to spend the money once and cover a variety of devices. So before taking a look at what's in the box, let's go to Amazon and see more about the product and how you can pick this up. So as you can see here, this is the Feiyutech official G6 Max gimbal. It's a handheld 3-axis stabilizer, 4-in-1 for the Sony alpha mirrorless cameras, A6300, 6400, and by the way, the one that I just showed you was a A6400 for the GoPro Hero 8 series, but it will work with some of the older series too. So if you have a 7 or even the 9, it's going to work with that as well because what we're looking at is the size, right, and what's going on there. It will also work with the iPhone 11 Max, all the iPhones, Samsung phones, Google phones. It's going to support all of those devices. You won't have a problem whatsoever with them. And a matter of fact, I'm actually going to be showing it in a couple seconds with one of the newer Sony pocket cameras, and you could use that as well to support that device. So very, very flexible, and it's going to give you a lot of choices. Now, what if you'd like to use this with the Canon M50? Well, check this out. First of all, I will tell you it works with the Canon M50 too. What you're looking at is being able to support payloads up to 2.6 pounds. So you need to look at the weight of your camera lens and your camera to determine if this is going to work or not. Now, as we scroll down, there's other things that you can see here. There is direct Wi-Fi control support. Notice the wide variety of cameras now. You could use the G6 with a Canon, with a Panasonic, with a Sony, with a GoPro. And again, in some cases, you can do direct connect, not just Bluetooth, but you can connect via the USB-C port or the USB port on your phone and have connection control. That is like the aperture, that is like on-off recording functions. Those kind of things would be able to be controlled through the gimbal itself. Now, the G6 Max is highly compatible with a lot of smartphones and other devices. So check this out. So here we're looking at the compatibility area, and you have the GoPro Hero. Look at 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And it gives you some specificity there. For Sony, look at the entire Sony line. Even though we only mentioned a few, there's a lot of Sony compatibility. For Canon, for Panasonic, for Nikon, for Leica, Fuji, for Fujifilm, for Blackmagic, and all your smartphones. So again, really, really compatible solution that's going to support a lot of different devices. And one of the things that I just wanted to highlight here, and we'll scroll down a little bit, is what can you expect in the box? And we'll see this. So what you're going to get in the box is you're going to get the gimbal, which you'll see in a second, a USB-C, a Type-C cable, an action camera adapter, a long screw, smartphone adapter, Sony shutter cable, Panasonic shutter cable, a tripod, and you're going to see little legs, and the case that also allows you to transport it. Now, the G6 Max comes in this nice little travel case. You can open it up, and it's really highly protective, and it's molded to your specific device. Now, with it, you're going to have a whole host of cables that we've highlighted. So see, here are some of the cables that you're going to be receiving. This is going to give you ultimate compatibility. What I like also is that they're labeled, right? So it basically tells you which device these are compatible with and what this has been designed for. So here are all the details on each side, and you can see that it comes with a whole host of adapters. They're going to give you, again, the type of compatibility that you need for the use that you'd like to use it for. This is the actual camera holder that's going to give you also the support for the camera. So everything you need to use all of these devices on this same gimbal. Now, as we take a closer look at the gimbal, I'm using this with my Sony ZV-1. And a couple things we'll highlight. It has several lock mechanisms. So you'll notice here that it has a lock. It also then has a lock here at the very bottom so that you can lock the actual gimbal in a specific position to make it really easy to transport. It has a quick release here. And it has this plate that I'm using with my Sony. If we take a look at the front here for a second, you do have this control panel here, with this dial that's going to allow you to not only access the menu, but it's also going to give you the ability to actually pivot, pan, tilt, do all these things, and you're going to see that in a couple seconds. The ability to be able to record, the ability to access other controls. On the side, power. Here's your USB-C, which not only does it support the charging of the unit, but you can also charge your smart device from this as well. You also have here an additional area so that you can put maybe a smartphone, a microphone, or if you want to hang whatever device from the gimbal itself. On this side, this is going to allow you to actually turn the camera left to right, and then when you push it, you could also bring it up and down if that's something that you'd like to do. And then it has a trigger that's going to allow you to use this even forward-facing and quickly switch over to a selfie mode. You also have various different modes in this with this gimbal that allow you to have some really cool effects that we've seen in some of the cool movies, where you actually see the person that's in front of you starts turning around kind of like in a circle. And giving you that really cool effect. So you can do that with this as well. You do have this little leg here, so you have this tripod that really gives you the ability to put this on any kind of desktop surface for recording, and it's also removable. Now, as you take a closer look at the LCD itself, you'll notice that everything is really visible and it's easy to read, not just in, I would say, low-lit environments, but even outside, it's really easy to read. As I turn the gimbal up, you'll notice how my camera stays balanced and really nice and in a good position. And we'll go over some of the controls, some of the things that you can do. So I'm going to turn this dial, and you'll notice as I turn it, I'm able to pivot up and down. And notice how smooth this is. So if you wanted to put this on a tabletop and you're doing, let's say, like a product shoot, all you have to do is do something like this, and notice how smooth that is. No stutter, and it's going to give you that silky smooth, I would say, pan going from top to bottom. If you'd like to, let's say, do this going from left to right, you could do this as well. Look at this. Right? So you can put this on a tripod, you could put this on the floor if you're taking your product shot, and then you can just turn it just like this, left to right. Right? So that's another option that you have. Now, if you're a vlogger, for example, one of the things you can do is if you tap this twice, you can actually go into selfie mode. So now I have it in selfie mode. So as I'm walking around, I can kind of do this thing. You can notice how it's staying and it's going to be really nice and smooth no matter where you're at. So it gives you that quick selfie mode. I can press this twice, and it switches to the other perspective. So now I can focus on something else. Now, one of the things I will mention is that when you're using this, make sure that you balance it with the lens out. So one of the mistakes that I've made earlier on is that I was balancing this with the actual camera lens in. So if I turn this on, for example, we'll go ahead and turn it on. It will even operate smoother with even less effort because it's been balanced with this lens out. Now, if you are the type of person that, let's say, for example, uses in this case, this camera with the flip out, balance it with the flip screen out, right? Because then you won't have any struggle. If you don't do that, what will happen is as you're using the gimbal, it'll start to shake a little bit and giving you feedback, letting you know that it's not balanced. But here, the actual camera's been balanced, and as I move into each one of these positions, you can see that it's able to do it without any problem because I took into account that this lens is going to change my balance perspective. Now, you do have the dial as well here that you can use. So you can use the dial that's on the side, right, for pan and tilt, and this gives you this little nice effect. And you also have an interesting app. You have these controls are also available on the phone. So if you want to, let's say, stand back and actually do the same controls, or if you're doing this recording yourself, you could do this as well just by simply using your phone with a Bluetooth connection. Now, this gimbal has the ability to teach your camera new tricks, your DSLR, your smartphone, or even your GoPro. Let me show you some of them. So I'm going to go forward here just to show you in a second. We have a mode that's called Inception. That was that rotating mode that I mentioned. You have portrait mode and you have time lapse. Let me show you how the Inception mode works. We're going to go ahead and turn this way, and then we're going to do a rotate. And notice how the camera is rotating. Now, if you're following somebody that's walking, running, and you're just moving forward like this, back and forth, this is going to give you a really, really cool effect as you're following that person. So great features, that are part of this gimbal that just extend, I would say, the capabilities that you have as a photographer. If, let's say, for example, you're someone that is a wedding shooter, or someone who is just a amateur photographer, or a vlogger or YouTuber like myself, this is a great tool to have because it really extends the capabilities of your cameras. Now, I use the G6 Max for product shooting, so for highlighting features of different products I'm reviewing on the channel. So what you'll see next is an early view of a theater seat that I'm reviewing on the channel. It's an upcoming video, and how I'm highlighting the features using the G6 Max to give me a really cool effect, almost like a cinematic view of the actual theater seats. You'll also see another shot of just Noel and I playing around in the park, walking and using some of the different modes, you know, a peekaboo mode, and then also using the Inception mode. Now, during the Inception mode, I almost tripped, so you're going to notice that there's some jittery stuff going on there. It's not the gimbal, it's me. There was just a wet leaf on the ground when I was chasing after Noel using the Inception mode. So check out this video.
My lungs, ooh, trying to hide my cold sweat, but I just keep on talking in tongues. It's a funny situation that I got myself into. I can't help my own frustration, 'cause I think, yeah, I think I like it. I think I like it. Got nothing to lose. 'Cause I think I like it. Tell me if you like me too. How can you move the way you do? It's making me crazy, yeah. You're moving just like you own the room.
So guys, that concludes our review of the Feiyutech G6 Max, the one gimbal for all your cameras, DSLR, GoPro, or smartphone in one gimbal.